Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers, how are you lot doing today? MashaAllah. Can I just get a raise of hands so I know who's Muslim and who's not Muslim? Just so I know who I'm talking to. Who's Muslim first? All of you are Muslim, mashallah. Who's not Muslim? MashaAllah. What's your name, brother? Omar. Yeah. So what are you doing? You already got the name, my brother. Where are you from originally? Ghana, yeah? Okay, where'd you get that name from? Your parents named you that? Yeah. Okay. Listen, my brothers, I wanted to just speak to you. First and foremost, I appreciate you lot coming out, having to hear what it is I have to say, okay? I do a lot of work with brothers who are from the streets, from the roads, especially those who are caught up in serious conflicts. I've seen brothers that I've buried. I've seen brothers that have to go visit in jail on a regular basis. Now, I want to talk to you about a few things. There's some stuff that's specific to the brothers on the roads. There's certain sins, there's certain criminal activities. And when I say criminal, I'm not talking about what the government and the feds deem to be criminal. I'm not talking about their laws. I'm talking to you about the law of Allah. There are things that Allah deems to be criminal. For example, sleeping around with women. For example, not just smoking drugs, drinking alcohol. These are criminal activities that Allah sees to be criminal. Okay? For example, what did the Prophet ﷺ say about a person who he gets drunk? And if he gets drunk, remember, if he gets high, the same punishment applies. This is not me. You're a Muslim. This is what your Prophet, Muhammad ﷺ, who's speaking out of revelation from Allah. This is what he said. He said, if you see a person and he got intoxicated, his punishment, he has to be lashed. The Prophet said, if he done it again, fajriduhu, lash him again. Third time, if he does it, if he gets drunk again, if he gets intoxicated again, the Prophet said, lash him. If he done it the fourth time, the Prophet, you know what he said? He said his punishment is capital punishment. Faqtuluhu. His punishment is death. His punishment is death. Why? Because, my brothers, whoever killed someone sober, really and truly, when do you go kill someone? When do you go sleep around and take a woman's virginity? When do you go and do these criminal things? You don't do it when you're sane. You do it when your mind is not focused. You're out of this world. So because it's such a criminal thing, it leads to so much evil, that's why the punishment is so high. But I'm not even here to talk to you about drugs. And I'm not here to talk to you about fornication. Sleeping around women where every time you sleep with a woman, the punishment will be that you'll be lashed 100 times. I'm not here to talk to you about lying. I'm not here to even talk to you about these things. I'm here to talk to you about violence. My brothers, please pay attention to me and don't lose focus. I'm here to talk to you about violence. You see, violence in our religion is not necessarily all bad. Are you hearing me? There's not all violence is bad in our religion. Our religion is not a pacifist religion. For example, we just had Eid. And what do you do on Eid? Eid al-Adha, what's it special for? Who can tell me? Yeah, you have to slaughter the animal. Is that violence? It is violence. But that's good. That's good violence. Self-defense. Is that a good form of violence? You have to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your people, right? But it is an evil form of violence. And because this form of violence is so evil, the severity in terms of the punishment for this violence, brothers, it's out of this world. It's something the likes you can't imagine. Allah said in the Quran that if you take the life of a person, whether he's Muslim or whether he's not a Muslim, but you took someone's life, I'm going to come to it. I promise you afterwards, I'm going to answer all them questions for you, inshaAllah. But if you take the life of a person, Muslim or non-Muslim, it's like you killed all of humanity. One person's life, my brothers, you know what it's worth? It's worth all of humanity. And that's a non-Muslim. What about a Muslim? If you kill a Muslim, my brothers, look what Allah said. You know, the greatest crime that you can do is to worship another God besides Allah. We call it shirk. To worship a man besides Allah or an idol besides Allah. It's the worst thing you could do. It's the worst. But murder of a Muslim, Allah, it's not as bad as shirk. But when Allah described the punishment of this, Allah described it even worse, my brothers, than the punishment of shirk. It's not worse. But the way Allah described it, He didn't even describe the punishment of worshipping another God. What did Allah say? Allah said, وَمَن يَقْتُلْ مُؤْمِنًا مُتَعَمِّدًا فَجَزَاؤُهُ جَهَنَّمْ خَالِدًا فِيهَا. Allah said, anyone who kills a believer, he will get 5 punishments. Number 1, he's going to enter in the hellfire. Number 2, He'll be in the hellfire for eternity. My brothers, he's never going to come out. He's going to be there forever. Allah's curse is upon him. Allah said, my anger's upon him. Then after it, Allah said, وَأَدَّ لَهُ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. We prepared for him a mighty, mighty punishment, as if to say all of that is not bad enough. So I'm saying, my brothers, is it worth it for you? Is it worth it for you to place yourself in that situation? Is it worth it for you to sacrifice your afterlife for eternity? Is it worth it, my brothers? It's not. And I'll tell you one thing, because a lot of us, you have problems. You have issues with people. So you think to yourself, how am I going to protect myself? So what you might do is you might carry around a weapon with you. You might carry around a weapon with you, okay? And we know the cycle of carrying around a weapon. You have a weapon with you, someone gets you angry, you're angry in a moment of rage, you might kill someone, you might stab someone, you didn't even mean it. How many brothers have I seen that have killed people that they weren't even bad people? They didn't even, that's not even the kind of person they were. It's just that they had a weapon on them at the time and they became angry and they just did it. Or if you have a weapon on you, what goes around? We don't say it comes around because that's karma, that's a different religion. But in our religion, we have a principle which is, if you do something, it will happen back to you. Al-jaza'u min jinsil amal. If you carry weapons with the intent to harm, then Allah will bring that back to you, my brothers. But you might ask yourself, how do I protect myself? Because the police is not here to protect you. I understand. And no one out there is going to protect you. Some of your own boys won't protect you. How do you protect yourself? I'm with you. That's a very valid question. You know what the Prophet said? Allah will protect you. Look what the Prophet said. He said, "Ihfadillah yahfadka." That if you do what Allah told you to do, my brothers, if you pray, my brothers, if you fast, if you lower your gaze, and you give charity, and you do good deeds, my brothers, you do what Allah wants you to do, the Prophet said, yahfadka, Allah will protect you. Allah will safeguard you. In Surah Al-Ra'd, Allah said, Allah will send down angels in front of you and behind you. Who's going to touch you when there's angels? Look what the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, "Man nazala manzilan faqal." Anyone who comes to a place and he says, "A'udhu bi kalimatillahi tammati min sharri ma khalaq." He says, Allah, I seek refuge in your perfect and complete words from the evil that you created. The Prophet said, "Lam yadurruhu shay'an hatta yartahila min manzilihi dhalik," or kama qal. The Prophet said that nothing will harm you until you leave that place. But why do you not feel that sense of protection? Brothers, you want that protection? You need to come with the first thing that the Prophet told you to do. He said, obey Allah. Do what Allah told you to do. Then you deserve to be protected. But if you're not obeying Allah, my brothers, then what do you have? Then you have to carry the knife. Then you have to carry a gun. But that's not going to do you much good. But then when a person obeys Allah, he has what? He has what? He has Allah protecting him. Some of the scholars, they would write a letter to each other to remind themselves. They would just send them a very simple letter. Assalamu alaikum. They would just give them one advice. They would say, if Allah is with you, then what are you scared of? You got no one to fear. No one to fear. Allah is with you. Allah said, Wallahu ma'as sabirin. Allah is with those who are patient. His army rides for you. But if Allah is not with you, then you have no hope. You have no hope. They would say, remind each other, that if you observe Allah and you remember Allah in every heartbeat within your heart, my brothers, but what Allah do? Allah will protect you in every second that you move your body. There's a narration, a hadith that's mentioned. There was a young boy who used to work with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Used to work with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Used to aid him, used to serve him. And the Prophet named him Safina. And he called him Safina, why? Because he would carry things. Safina is a ship, it carries things. He would say, you have something? Let me grab it, let me put it in my back, and he would carry it for them. So what happened? One day this young boy, he was on a shipwreck, and the shipwreck, then it pulled him up to a shore. He's in this shore, and he finds himself in a strange land. So these are authentic narrations, my brothers. These narrations are true. He's sitting in a strange land, a strange place. He's thinking, what the hell is this? Where am I? And a lion approaches him. My brothers, pay attention. A lion approaches him. And the lion approaches him. This young boy speaks to the lion. He says, oh lion. He says, do you know who I am? I'm the Mawla of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, I'm the one who aids and serves the Prophet. I'm a helper of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. That's who I am. And you're coming up to me? And what did the lion do? The The lion knew this, understood that this person is a person of righteousness and khair. So what did the lion do? It put his head down in humility and guided the young boy out of the jungle into a straight path and left him on his way. And then the scholars, for example, Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he mentioned a powerful point. He brought many incidences like this of animals and things that you wouldn't expect to guard you. Because he's showing you that not only will Allah guard you and Allah will protect you when you obey Him, Allah will make things protect you that you'd expect to harm you. For example, you don't expect to be protected by a lion, but the lion will come protect you. Allah will send the lion to protect you. Allah controls the lion. Allah owns the lion. Allah controls each and every single thing in this world. The lion is a slave of Allah. It is obedient to Allah. So Allah sends the lion to go obey this person. You see where I'm coming from, my brothers? See where I'm coming from? Another example, Ibrahim ibn Adham. True. One day he went to sleep and there was a snake around him. He didn't realize it was a snake and it had poison, it had venom inside of its mouth. And the people saw that as he was sleeping, the snake was just circulating around him, going around him. Why? Anytime a scorpion or a person would come close, the snake would hiss. As if it was guarding one of his own children. Why? Because this man, Ibrahim ibn Adham, he was a righteous man, my brothers. And I tell you a hadith from what Allah Azza wa Jal said himself. It's called a hadith Qudsi. Something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said himself. What did he say? He said, "Man adani waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb." Brothers, this is from Allah. Look what he's saying to himself. He said, Allah said in a hadith Qudsi that anyone who declares war on one of my allies, brothers, we like to make allegiances with each other. We like to make friendships with each other. Like for example, you know, when you understand it, you know, you got a few friends, you know, they're gonna ride for you, they're gonna die for you, they're gonna be there by your side. They're gonna bang for you if the situation gets sticky. They're there for you, right? You're an ally to them. Allah is not talking about them. Allah is talking about His allies. He's going to describe them in a second. Allah said, "Man adani waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb." Allah said, anyone who hates, who has a problem, who has a beef with one of my allies, with one of my friends, Allah said, I declare war on that person. Brothers, look at this. Allah will declare war on your behalf. Man adani waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb. If you have an issue with someone I love, Allah said, if you have an issue with someone I love, I declare war on the ones who have an issue with you. Look at that, my brothers. Allah will declare war on your behalf. Allah will declare war on your behalf. And what is Allah's army? La ya'lamu junuda rabbika illa hu. Allah said, no one knows this army except for Him. Allah's army, no one knows it except for Him. Allah can send down what angels for you. Allah can send down whatever it is that He wants. But then Allah described how you can become an ally of Allah. Allah described how you can become one who is a beloved of Allah. What did Allah say? Allah said, you do your obligations. What is obligatory for you, my brothers? Your 5 daily prayers, respecting your parents, right? Your sadaqah, your charity, your zakat, your umrah, hajj, fast. We all know, brothers, we all know what we have to do. You are smart, young, intelligent brothers. You know what you need to do. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know this. If you come with these things, you become a beloved of Allah. And then the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah said, but then you start doing extra things that are not obligatory, the extra righteous deeds. You give charity when you don't need to. You pray when you don't need to. When you don't have to, you pray. You smile in the face of your brother. You smile at him. You do these extra things, you become even more beloved to Allah. To the point where Allah said, I become the eyes with which He sees. I become the hand with which He grabs. I become the feet with which He walks. If He was to ask me anything, Allah said, I'll give it to Him. If He was to seek protection in me, say, Allah, protect me from this. Protect me from this evil. Protect me from these evil people, Ya Allah. I will protect him. My brothers, Allah will bring you protection from things you don't expect. But I'll tell you one thing. And you tell me if I'm lying here. If you turn away from Allah, if Allah was going to protect you, if you obey Him, if Allah was going to protect you by things you'd expect to harm you, if you turn away from Allah, Allah will punish you by the things you expect to love you. Allah will punish you by the things you expect to love you. And look, I don't know you, my brothers, but I understand where you're coming from, and I don't have to know you to know what I'm going to say. But how many of us have been backstabbed by people that we thought would never betray us? You don't have to put your hand up, just ask yourself. How many of us have been betrayed and backstabbed by people we used to once consider our friends? That was my boy. Me and him were close. And now he's gunning for me. If he catches me slipping, what's he gonna do? We all know this situation. Why did it happen, brothers? You have to ask yourself, did you turn away from Allah? Did you turn away from Allah? Because wallahi, if you come to Allah, the people that you consider and think that are going to be your enemies, what's going to happen? Allah will aid them to you. I'll give you an example. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was in Medina, an entire army gathered, made up of many different armies. It was called the Battle of Ahzab. It was the scariest battle ever at the time of the Prophet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus armies, they came together and they joined to what? To destroy the Muslims in the little city of Medina. To destroy them. How did Allah give them victory? A man from one of the armies, out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, Allah, he guided him in his heart. He became Muslim. He came to the Prophet ﷺ the next day and he said, Ya Rasulullah. He said, what? He said, I testify and I bear witness that there is no one worthy to be worshipped in truth except for Allah. Wa annaka Muhammadan Rasulullah. And you, O Muhammad, you are the messenger of Allah. And he went in. And the story is long, I'm not going to go into it. But through him, Allah Azza wa Jal, he made those armies fight amongst themselves and they left. Where did that come from? It came from within the enemy. From within the ops. Allah, He brought them what? He brought them a victory. And that's what Allah does, my brothers. But wallahi, it comes to this. If you obey Allah, Allah will find a way out for you. But brothers, you can't look. We have to stop feeling sorry for the world, man. We have to stop feeling sorry for ourselves, man. Wallahi, we're in difficult situations. But you have to ask yourself, how much do you contribute towards this? You can get yourself out of this mess, man. You really can. You can live a life, brothers. Wallahi, live a life. I work in Dubai a lot. I work in Dubai, okay? I have to travel back and forth. I go around the world. Have you ever been to Dubai? Anyone have been to Dubai? Wallahi, when I go to Dubai, it's interesting because there's like no crime in Dubai. Hardly any crime. When I'm in London, me, I'm not even on the roads or nothing like that. I'm always watching over my shoulder. I'm always paranoid. But when I'm there, I'm relaxed on the beach. I'm relaxing. Like literally, I got a coconut in my hand. I'm sipping like fresh coconut water from a coconut. And when I'm enjoying myself, sometimes I start crying.
Brother, Dubai is not a good halal country.
It's not a halal country, but I'm trying to.
You're just talking about being out of the area.
I'm talking from the angle of just dunya. That you don't have to choose this life. You don't have to live this life. I say when I'm there, brother, sometimes I start crying. You know why? Because I think to myself, if only some of my young brothers, some of my brothers like you guys, who are back on the blocks, could see that there's a world out here. There's a world to live. There's places to be. Does that make sense? But wallahi, brothers, you know what it is? This music that we're listening to, it's brainwashing us all day. You know how they say you are what you eat. You are what you listen to. You are what you listen to as well. And you are what you see. The kuffar, they say you are what you eat. No, we don't say that. We say you are who you listen to and you are what you see. If all day you're seeing, fighting, bloodshed, drugs, women, that's gonna corrupt your heart, my brothers. You see what I'm saying? Just be my advice to you, my brothers. You turn back to Allah, Allah will turn and correct each and every single thing for you. If you have any questions, you had a question, my brother.
No, I was just talking. You said if you kill a Muslim,
yeah.
If you're not even a Muslim, if you kill anyone, it's the same as killing the whole humanity. So how about if they killed your brother or your friend?
Yeah.
It's the same still. It's the same. There's no exception.
So look, in our religion, if a person murders someone, then the Islamic court would then put that person to trial.
So how about if there's no Islamic court?
But that's what I'm saying. Then you leave it to Allah. Because I promise you, akhi, whatever you or me might be able to do to that guy, Allah will do worse. Like imagine, you have to understand something. You see, if someone insults me, one time the Prophet was sitting with Abu Bakr. The Prophet Muhammad was sitting with Abu Bakr. And the Quraysh came and they were insulting the Prophet. They were cursing him, insulting him. The Prophet was just taking it. He was taking it. Abu Bakr, he got up and he cussed them back. He's thinking they're insulting the Prophet, so he cussed them back. When Abu Bakr got up, and he's the Prophet's best friend, the Prophet got up and he left. So Abu Bakr's confused. He said, Ya Rasulullah, they were insulting you and you stayed, but when I defended you, you left. When I defended you, you left. The Prophet said, you don't understand. When they were insulting me, he said that Allah sent angels to respond back on my behalf. But when you stood up, the angels, they left. The lesson that you learn from here is that if you take it into your own hands, then Allah will not give you that justice. Allah will not give you that justice. You took it into your own hands. Like a person, for me, if a person really harms someone that I love, and if I didn't want to forgive this person, I'd want Allah to deal with him. Allah will deal with him how? Allah said 5 things. That's more than you and me could ever do. But rather, if I step in and I take revenge for my friend, and I do that now, guess what happens? Not only will Allah doesn't have to take any vengeance from him, but now I put myself in danger of Allah punishing me. Does that make sense? I now put myself in danger where now, before I could have had that vengeance, that retribution could have taken place, but now I've stepped into the realms of what might receive punishment. You see where I'm coming from? And I'll tell you something, my brothers. You know, if there was, the Prophet ﷺ, he said something. He said, the one who directs you towards good, man dalu ila khayri kafa'ili. Anyone who directs you towards good, he will have the reward of that good even if he never done it. But anyone who directs you towards evil will have the evil of that even if he never done it. So you have to ask yourself, if one of my friends died, for example, let's say my friend, he was doing X, Y, Z on the roads, and there was a beef that started or whatever have you, he dies now. In his name, I carry that beef on. Imagine if he started it, or if he was a party to that conflict, okay, if I now go kill someone, imagine I'm taking revenge for my friend, but he gets the bad deeds. You know why? Because the first man who ever killed someone was Adam's son, Habil and Qabil. We all know the story of the 2 brothers. And the Prophet said, everyone who does a murder now from that day onwards, he will get the punishment for it. So imagine if we really love our friend who died, I need to be in the masjid praying for him. Maybe he didn't do many good deeds. Maybe he was high when he died. Maybe this happened, maybe that happened. So if you really care for him, and I'm not trying to question your love for your friends. I know you have love for your friends who pass away, but I'm trying to tell you an alternative. What you go do Hajj for him. You go do Umrah for him. You pray for him. You give charity in his name. That's a real friend. Because on the day of judgment, he'll come. He'll think to himself, he's probably in his grave. He might be in his grave. He might be stressed thinking, what's going on? I didn't do enough. On the day of judgment, he comes as a mountain of good deeds. Why? He said, because my brethren, they held me down. They gave charity in my name. Do you see? And that's how you do good for your friends. And if you do that for someone, my brother, Allah will make that happen for you. You'll have friends that will do that for you in return. Does that answer your question? Anyone else? If anyone here is coming from a non-Muslim perspective, I just want to mention, as a non-Muslim, Allah will protect you also. But the first thing that you need to come with is to serve and worship Allah alone. Because my brothers, I'll be very real with you. What is a greater crime than stabbing someone and killing them? And what's a greater crime than raping someone? And what's a greater crime than all of that? Is that Allah, He made you, He created you, He fashioned you. He gave you eyes with which you see. He gave you ears with which you listen. A heart that beats. And what do? You don't worship Him. Rather, you worship someone else. You worship a man. You might worship a prophet, for example, Jesus. You might worship what? An idol. I have a question for you. From all of my videos online that you might have seen, which one has been the most life-changing one for you so far? Many people told me that it was the video when we gave da'wah outside the shisha cafe. And I'll leave you with this. The Prophet ﷺ said, a time will come when holding on to my religion, holding on to Islam, will become as difficult as holding on to charcoal. The charcoals that we smoke shisha with. The Prophet said, try and hold on to it. It burns you, let go of it. The Prophet ﷺ said, that's what my religion will become like. Is it not like that today? Or maybe it was one of the other 1,000 plus videos that we have online. Whatever it was, I want to ask you a follow-up question. And that is, I want you to remember and recall what life was like before you saw that video, when you were distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, when you're thinking of that and remembering that, I want you to be aware that there are many brothers and sisters who are still living life like that. They still haven't seen that one video that's going to help change their life. They haven't seen that one reminder that's going to touch them and bring them out from the darkness of sins to the brightness and the light and the happiness happiness of guidance. But that doesn't mean that there isn't hope for them. They just need to come in contact with that kind of content online. And that's why myself and my team are dedicating the next 3 months, inshaAllah ta'ala, to flooding the internet with as much content on Tawheed and Sunnah and reminders about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as possible. But the issue is that in order for us to reach those targets, we're limited in terms of the resources that we have. We need to hire more people in our media team. We need to also buy new equipment. Now look, I am going to ask you to support this financially, but I'm not going to ask you for crazy numbers. For us, we don't need that kind of money. We need little money because we have a team that really believes in this. And the proof is in the pudding. If you see what we've done over the last summer, subhanAllah, you can see that the work that gets done, that money goes where it deserves to be placed. So I'm going to ask you, inshaAllah ta'ala, please inshaAllah ta'ala, give it the link below and let's flood the internet with La ilaha illallah.